morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio, and today I am delighted, because we finally have a look at the new Donphan. And we knew we were getting a new Donphan. We were shown in multiple streams over in Japan, multiple videos on the channel. We were shown the new Phanpy and the new tool Memory Capsule, which is just a tool card that does the same thing Memory Energy did, or Shrine of Memories did. Lets you, or the Celebi, the Shining Celebi that sat on your bench did. It didn't have to sit on your bench, but it did. Essentially, it let you use the attacks of pre-evolutions. So we knew that we were getting a Donphan because they kept showing us Phanpy with his tool, which was only relevant if there was a Donphan, but they would not show us the Donphan. Well, today they did, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be honest, it's good. It's also weirdly, creepily similar to Donphan Prime, which is, of course, my very favourite Pokemon card ever, bar none. Literally my number one favourite with no exceptions. So that's cool. Oh, and shout out to the lovely Antoine Boulet, who not only provided the translation, but also messaged me this as soon as he saw it, going, Warsy, there is a new Donphan, you need to see this. Yeah, I did need to see that. So what can we say about this Donphan then? It's got 150 HP, which is high. For a stage 1, this is high. This is higher than we saw on things like the Donphan from Celestial Storm. This is higher than we see on Excadrill, which is very relevant. These two cards do need to be put side by side and compared. That is awesome. And you get the retreat cost of 4, which gives you access to buff padding, giving it 200 HP. Straight off the bat, I am loving it. Although, let's be clear, this is not one of those cards where I'm going to be able to give you a properly objective opinion, and I don't intend to do so. I'm going to try and be as honest and objective as I can, but there is a Donphan in the logo of this channel. Bear that in mind. Now, you are weak to grass, which is awesome, because unless something like Zarude becomes really good, just grass decks are not seeing play right now. But you're a fighting Pokemon, which is weakness on Vikavolt, which is weakness on Pikachu and Zekrom, which is weakness on Eternatus. Basically, you're hitting weakness on most of the best decks in the format, which is sweet. Plus, you've got Karate Belt to reduce your attack cost by 1 if you're behind on prizes. Plus, assuming you're using basic fighting, you've got Martial Arts Dojo to do an extra 10 damage. 40 if you're behind on prizes. Plus, you've got Stone Fighting Energy to reduce damage done to you by attacks by 20. And what we've got here is a very nice Pokemon indeed. But what does it do? Well, the first attack is the one with which we are primarily concerned. And we've got 1 energy, 120 damage. And this attack does 20 damage to each of your benched Pokemon. Okay, that's alright by me. It's actually really good. It's really nice. Now, 120 damage, KO on Pikachu and Zekrom, KO on Vikavolt, KO on Eternatus. Does not KO Eternatus V Max, just the V. But then again, if you're behind on prizes and you use a Martial Arts Dojo hitting 160, which is actually still 10 damage short, but Vitality Band will get you over the hump. And I know having to have a tool and having to have a stadium is awkward, but I also know that a one-hit KO for free prizes on a single price, single energy stage 1 is the kind of thing that swings games very much in your favour, so make no mistake about it, I am absolutely fine with the trade we're having with Eternatus here. So that's kind of awesome. And the fact of the matter is, we're talking a single energy, single prize Pokemon, which is just smashing multiple prize Pokemon that see a huge amount of play. This is Excadrill. And when I look at this, I like it for the same reason I like Excadrill. Plus, you've got more HP, and you're not self-milling, and self-milling can be horrible because you can end up discarding cards that you really need later. I've lost games of Excadrill because I've discarded stuff that I could not afford to discard. Now, this is the point, and I've already seen this comment in multiple places. Oh, but you don't have 11th hour tackle that can do 180 damage. And I speak as someone, I feel confident saying I have played more games with Excadrill than almost anybody else out there. I'm sure there are a few that have outpaced me, but I have played literally hundreds of games with various forms of Excadrill. If you're playing Excadrill for 11th hour tackle, you're playing it wrong. Because if you're playing Excadrill for 11th hour tackle, your opponent gets a Makago out, you lose the game instantly. Your opponent drops Balauba and Bryson Man, and yes, I know it's bad now, but it wasn't for a long time. You lose instantly, and that was a single card supporter that could be teched into any kind of deck. Plus, it means that you're milling super aggressively. You're going to get rid of resources that you need. Plus, it means that you end up getting rid of all your ordinary rod, etc. So you run out of attackers in the late game if you don't win instantly, etc., etc. I like 11th hour tackle. 11th hour tackle is a very nice attack, and 180 for a single energy is clearly great. But it is a game-ending attack. Every time, bar a couple of exceptions, every time I used 11th hour tackle, it was, and now I win the game. Because I didn't want to run into someone who could mill 1 or 2 cards and beat me instantly. That's not fun. The fact of the matter is, the vast majority of the time, Excadrill was and should have been played for Drill Bazooka. Well, this does that. With more HP and you're not milling yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, losing the bigger attack is sad, but we got other attackers, and you can play this with Excadrill and use 11th hour tackle when you get there. But the fact of the matter is, 120 for a single energy with a weakness you're hitting is brilliant. Yes, you do 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon, but firstly, I'm really not terribly worried, because you're playing a lot of Pokemon that are going to end up being one-hit KO'd a bit anyway, and again, there is nothing to stop you playing a mixture of Excadrill and Donphan until we rotate Excadrill in, well, September time next year, in a year's time. And then if you're really worried about the South Mill, you play Donphan, and if you're worried about the bench damage, you play Excadrill, and boom, Bob's your uncle. But also, let's not forget you can play stuff like Spiritomb, that does more damage for each damage counter on it. And this just builds it up way more quickly. Oh yeah, and while we're here, remember that I've told you that this Phanpy we're getting is, and I'm not exaggerating, my favourite card that I have seen in years. This is my favourite card I've seen since probably Excadrill. I absolutely adore this Phanpy. Because the thing is that this Phanpy does what Excadrill did, but better. You do 30 damage for each damage counter on yourself. And this is where Memory Capsule comes in, because then you can use Memory Capsule on a Donphan to copy Phanpy's attack. So actually, yes, damage your bench. And then Donphan comes out with, 8 damage counters on and hits 240 damage. I ain't worried about the bench damage. Because the reality is, whereas when I'm attacking with Excadrill and I'm constantly thinking, oh man, this really sucks. Because what if I discard stuff I don't need? I mean, the amount of times I milled Dynasty Prism Star was just, it was annoying. And yes, I know I could use Quick Ball to grab it out of the deck early, and obviously when I could, I did, but it wasn't always possible. And I still ended up milling it a lot. Whereas here, the bench damage just sets you up for the future. It means that your Phanpy or your Donphan can come and hit redonk damage later. I mean, it's rarely going to happen, but Donphan actually maxes out at 420 damage. Because you can have 14 damage counters on. You cannot have buff padding with this tool, so it really is 14 damage counters. So you've got 100 times 3 is 300, 40 times 3 is 120, add them up, 420 damage. That is ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why I don't care about the bench damage. And this is why I like this way more than Excadrill. And you know I love Excadrill. Because the reality is, getting down to 3 cards left in your deck, and again, anything that can mill can then beat you instantly, because they mill you down to 0 cards, your turn starts, no cards, you lose. Here, I'm building up for bigger attacks, and sure, I do lose 11th hour tackle, but I gain Phanpy's attack, and I am well okay with this. The fact of the matter is, and actually, while we're here, they have actually gone and shown us a few promos, including another version of this Phanpy. There is a promo artwork of this exact Phanpy, so now we've got 2 different Phanpys we can use. Just in case we weren't excited enough about Phanpy anyway. Although, let's be super clear, I was excited enough for Phanpy anyway. So yeah, this is just amazing. I don't see myself playing a non-Phanpy/Donphan deck until it rotates. I honestly don't. And maybe the format changes. You know, at the moment we are in a very, very favourable meta for Donphan because of all the stuff that's weak to fighting, and there is a chance that in the future that changes and then my opinion on the card changes. But while we're here, in the format we're in, I think this is a phenomenal card. Oh, it does free energy for 90 damage. Nobody cares, right? This is not a good attack. We're not going to use it. No. Although it does, like I say, make it look extremely like Donphan Prime, where you've got a large single prize Pokemon with one attack, decent damage, and it hits your bench. One cost attack. And then free cost attack, 90 damage. So there are a lot of similarities between this and Donphan Prime. But Donphan Prime did not have quite the favourable meta that we have nowadays. Although, to be fair, you did have Luxray level X. And oh my goodness, back in 2011, I feasted on Luxray level X. It was wonderful. The fact of the matter is, we got a really nice single energy attack on a single prize stage 1 that then powers up that ridiculous attack on Phanpy and hits weakness on a lot of the best cards in the game. I'm giving this 5 Wassies and I will not be swayed. If you see me at a tournament, and I really hope tournaments start again. I want to make a tournaments. But if you see me at a tournament, you're going to see me playing Donphan or some variant thereof. My only real sadness here is the fact that the Players' Cup 2 is before this is legal. It is before Vivid Voltage comes out and is legal for tournament play, so I can't play Donphan in that tournament. Because I promise you I would be playing some variant of Donphan in that tournament. I am a ridiculous fan of this card. It's a 5 Wossie card. I absolutely love it. But I'd like to hear from you guys. Am I overrating it because I'm a massive Donphan fan? Or am I right in saying that 150 HP single prize, single energy Pokemon that can KO very widely played multiple prize Pokemon and has a ridiculous attack on its basic that can one-hit KO anything is actually worth getting excited about? I'm excited. But tell me about your level of excitement in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.